Rovers get back to winning ways over in Wales, of course, beating them 3-1 and their own back bloody yard. Is this the real Blackburn Rovers, or was this just a flash in the pan? We'll talk about that and much more next. That's right, folks, back once again with another Blackburn Rovers review, looking back at the game over at Cardiff this past weekend. And we'll get to it in a second. If you knew where you've been, smash your subscribe on your one-stop shop for Blackburn Rovers, Championship, World Football. We've got it all here under one rooski. That's right, it's been a lifetime since we got scored a goal. It's been even a longer lifetime since we got an away win, of course, and all of those things came out on in abundance this past weekend as we beat Cardiff in their own backyard. What am I talking about? Well, I'll tell you in a second. Of course, if you knew where you've been, hit the old subscribe. Your one-stop shop is here for Rovers. A big shout out to the patrons, big shout out to the members. You know who you are. But yes, a big monstrous shout out to Blackburn Rovers. Goodness gracious me. Big 3-1 win in the part of the season where, of course, we're now heading into the international break. Of course, a chance for us to regroup, reassign, and get things back on track. But for all about momentum, all about belief, we needed this result, and we're going to talk about it right here, right now. Again, subscribe, smash the like, get into it. But yes, let's get excited a little bit as we look back at this result. 3-1 winners it was over in Cardiff. Rovers scoring on the 15th minute with what's been dubbed one of the goals of the season, of course. A well-worked team goal, a whole bunch of passes from Rovers, of course, ultimately ending with Andreas Weimann scoring his first goal in a long, long time. And, of course, our first goal ever in a while. It feels like forever. And, of course, a first time we've scored on the road in a long, long time. So monumental relief for me on the watch-along, of course, and, of course, for Rovers fans around the world. 15th minute, great, took the lead in a half that we were pretty much dominant in that first half, and we looked in control of our own destiny. It wasn't always like that. Today, we in the second half, it did grow. Our confidence did grow. Of course, when Andreas Weimann pretty much did, it was not carbon copy, but a very similar sort of goal to the first, scoring on the 54th minute. Another excellent passing goal. Of course, we've been arguing about the fact that Rovers seem to be passing the ball or trying to pass the ball in the back of the net. That was the case for both of these goals. Well worked, found the space, and of course, Weimann was on the end of both of them. 54th minute to make it 2-0. Game over, you would imagine, and it looked game over at that point. But then some changes were made by John Eustace, including bringing on, not my favourite cup of tea at the moment, it is, of course, Joe Costello, who's prone to a bit of an error here, there, and everywhere. He can score occasionally. When everything's whenever the sun's at the right time and the stones are lining up, everything all in coordination and the wind is just right, then of course Joe Costello has a good game. But today he came on, he did an absolute whopper of a foul in the area, giving Cardiff a pathway into this game. Penalty was the decision, and David Turnbull did strike it. However, he struck it down the middle, and Pears was first to react. However, sponged it out for David Turnbull to just pump it in on rebound. So, yeah, Rovers 2-1 up at this point. Very on the edge. The game was on edge. Rovers really couldn't get much in anything in regards to some attacking pressure. Cardiff were very much in control of the second half. But finally, I've been screaming out for the guy to get on here. Lewis Baker, one of the subs, of course, involved in the triple subbage with Mac Gay. And who else was the other fellow who came on? But there was a triple subbage, Buckley as well. Yeah, and Lewis Baker does what he does, and I've seen his highlight reel over the years. He's, of course, a bit of a journeyman, played along a lot of clubs, not only in the EFL, but also abroad. He can score. He's got a foot on him. He's got a rocket on him. And he put his laces through it on the 86th minute to put this game to bed, and Rovers in complete control in the end. 3-1 win. And monster relief for Rovers fans around the world. Of course, we didn't have much possession. Cardiff seemed to grow into the game into the second half. Rovers dominating the first, but were just passengers in the second half, despite the 2 goals. Of course, 20 shots for Cardiff on the night compared to our 10. But clinical. Clinical was the word for Rovers today. And right place, right time for Andreas Weimann, who was given the Man of the Match award, but realistically, you've got to be looking closer to home and closer into midfield for that. My true winner of the manager, player of the month or player of the match there. Let's take a look at those starting 11s in just a second. Quick look at the shot grid there. Rovers are the blue. Not many shots compared to Cardiff. We've got to give Pears a big shout out. Of course, he was phenomenal when called upon. And of course, just Rovers were clinical and putting the ball in the back of the net, which is something we haven't seen in a long time. Campbell with a buttload of chances there. Weimann with 2 for 2. Baker 1 for 1 as well from the bench. Spreading them around a little bit, but not as much as Cardiff. Look at them, they peppered us a little bit and were a little bit hard done by. Colwell was a handful as well. We had, they had 771 touches to our 543. They had 548 passes to our 350. And these were the starting 11, starting with Cardiff. We had Olnick between the sticks, wearing the captain's armband as well. They had Gutas, Dalland at the back there, two gigantic centre-backs, and very much intimidating whenever the old corners come around. O'Dowda and Perry Ng at the full-backs. Turnbull, Robertson, Tanner, El-Hazi, Colwell and Willock leading the charge. Colwell definitely a player to keep an eye on for the future. As for Rovers, we had unchanged lineup, which was a surprise. We had Dom Hyam with Pears at the back there between sticks. Hyam, Bath, Pickering and Britton. We had Travis, Tronstad, Weimann, Hedges, Campbell and Yuki Hashi, who was a bit of a handful, of course. Substitutions for the sides there. Coming on for Cardiff, just the one, Yaku Maite, which was quite surprising that they didn't make any more changes with the likes of maybe, when you look at it, they are a little bit stretched. Maybe Wilfred Kanga could come on, but nope, they didn't opt for that. As for Rovers, we'd made 4 changes, JRC being 1, Buckley, of course, Lewis Baker and McTagay. To mix it up a little bit. So, yeah, not a bad takeaway, really, when realistically I was hoping for a draw. You know, hey, fair dues from the week we've had, losing to Stoke, losing to Sheffield United. This is, of course, a welcome boost at a good part of the season. Let's take a look then at, of course, the match ratings from a third-party, unbiased point of view. When we look at it, key men for Cardiff, the likes of David Turnbull with the goal, Ruben Cole was a handful as well, Alex Robertson in midfield. As for Rovers star men, Andreas Weimann given the 8.4, but Ainsley Pears with an 8.7 and Travis with an 8.1. So good hard shifts from those guys involved. It was a little hard done by on Pears to concede the goal. It looked like he was destined for a clean sheet, and he did some really good saves to deny Cardiff. But a 7.23 on average compared to the 6.88 of that of our host, that is Cardiff. What about, of course, what else has been... Actually, sorry, I'm missing completely something. Let's go to the heat maps. This is Cardiff. Again, a lot of ball, a lot of possession, a lot of grass covered, and, of course, not much in their own defensive area right over here. But, of course, in our area, very much so. So, pretty tough on them, I imagine. Did I do that right? Let me think about that. Yeah, I think this is the Rovers, of course, defensive area. Ainsley Pears' area, very much on the back foot for Rovers, but when we had the ball, we were clinical and we made it count because we just managed to get the ball in the back of the net with Andy Weimann on the money. 2 out of the 3 goals today. So, yeah, not bad day at the office. Long time overdue. I didn't anticipate this because Cardiff were on a bit of an uptick in form. Rovers on a major downtime in form and, of course, hadn't picked up a victory all season on the road. So this is a good chance for Rovers now to maybe get some momentum, but it is the international break. What I want to know is what the other fans or some of the other fans were saying over on Twitter. Let's take a little look. Let's take a look then over on social media. As you see, Toby Wilding there saying, although also thought Ohashi did almost everything else Rovers could have wanted from a striker today other than the score with how he covered ground, linked play and pressured the defence. Pears also continues to impress both with big saves and command of his area when dealing with crosses. Meanwhile, over at Lewis Travis Fan Club, what a shift from this man, he says. Our captain. The only one who do, says Rovers slayed some dragons today. Early kickoff, check. Away game, check. Goal drought, check. Losing streak, check. Gavin Ward, check. Ryan Hildred said, important win at the end of a difficult spell of the season. The attacking coming together with 2 unbelievable goals. The movement, possession, outstanding. Made it more difficult than it needed to be. Classic Rovers, but job done. Leaders performance from Trav. Chris Sutton, legend, of course, Premier League winner, goal scoring super premium back in his day. Rovers playing like Brazil today, 2 superbly worked goals. Meanwhile, Japanese football said, how many did Rovers score today, Yuki? Blackburn ended their goalless and winner streaks with a 3-1 win over Cardiff, which keeps them just 2 points outside the playoffs. Ohashi wasn't on the score sheet, but hopefully he played well, and he did play well. This man got the man of the match. Weimann, of course, chipped it in there, and he's also commented saying a big away win. Sam Miller, of course, was there. David Nugent was happy. Meanwhile, Tommy said brilliant a performance, watched the result, outstanding from all of them. Piers and Trav especially, Baker coming on, easing the pressure and securing the first league away win. We waited for a goal, then we get 3. Absolute roller coaster with this club. Well played, lads. Carl Wick, some of the best football I've ever seen. Our first 2 goals showcase how good our passing and moving can be. Ohashi leading the line superbly. Baker also with a great finish. Only negative is Costello gifting the opposition another goal. Liability of a player. It's not just me that feels that way. Barnes said that was a good win, long overdue, away from home, but we really got to cut out the individual errors. Feels like we're consistently conceding through individual errors, but that's a small gripe today. Happy Saturday for once, and I agree with that. It's been a great way to end the weekend. Speaking of weekends, these were the other games across the grounds this past weekend. Of course, there's a bit of a stacked Sunday with 3 matches going on still. But Watford opened it up with a 1-0 win over Oxford. Meanwhile, Middlesbrough put 5 past Luton Town. How long is Rob Edwards going to be in the helm? Who will be axed this international break? It looks like it's going to be a decisive part of the season for a lot of clubs. Stoke with a 1-1 draw against Millwall. Norwich on a bit of a downturn in form right now, losing to Bristol City at home. Leeds taking full advantage this weekend, 2-0 winners over QPR. Again, a club which backed their manager with a new contract, but really they are in trouble. Sunderland were 2-0 up against Coventry, but can only draw. Derby's home form took a bit of a dent as they only drew with Plymouth. Pompey with their first win of the season, or their first win or first home win anyway. 3-1 winners over Preston, and of course those 3 games tomorrow. Sheffield United against Wednesday, bit of a game that one, bit of a derby. Hull City against West Brom, and Burnley against Swansea. Of course. What about the table? Well, it looks like this. It's not that good for Rovers, but it is a little bit better than what it could have been. Sunderland top the charts, 31 points right now. Leeds are right on the heels, though, with 29. Then it's Sheffield United, who could actually take over top spot this weekend with a win over their better rivals Wednesday. Then Watford, Burnley, and then Borough are in the top 6. Millwall, West Brom, and then Rovers are in there, hot on the heels. Bristol City also in the mixer as well. Going down, QPR, Pompey, and Cardiff. With Luton or hanging in there, Preston as well. Hull also in a bit of hot water as well. As we look forward to those games as we come back from the international break, take a look at it. These are them. With Plymouth hosting Watford on Friday, November the 22nd. Oh, wow. Coventry will take on Sheffield United, a bit of a ding-dong classic as well. Sheffield Wednesday against Cardiff, also early kick-off. And then we go to the 3 o'clock games. Swansea, Leeds, Bristol City, Burnley, West Brom, Norwich, Preston, Derby, Luton, Hull, with Oxford, Middlesbrough, Millwall against Sunderland, and QPR against Stoke. But the game of the day will be Rovers against Portsmouth at Ewood Park. Unfortunately, I will be in England, but unfortunately, I will be probably closer to Portsmouth than I will be Blackburn, so I'll not be able to cover that game, but we might do a watch-along over in the UK. We'll see how it goes. I'm the kind of okay guy. That was, of course, a stellar Blackburn Rovers performance. I'm looking forward to taking the next 2 weeks a bit of a chill pill in regards to Rovers, because we've had a bit of a rough few weeks. But hopefully this is the start of something good, something positive for Rovers. But anyway, subscribe, smash the like. I'll catch you later. Until then, guys and girls, we are done.